Hi, my name is Dr. Todd Rowe, and I'm here to share a few tips on the homeopathic medicine Pulsatilla Nigrans, or Windflower. Before I start, I'd like to say that nothing in this material is meant to diagnose, treat, prescribe, or cure any illness. Please consult your homeopathic practitioner for treatment options. Pulsatilla nigrans is also known more commonly as Windflower or Pasque flower. It's a plant that is largely indigenous to Europe and has been used historically to color Easter eggs. It flowers in early spring and has purple to white flowers. Medicinally, this flower has been used to treat skin ulcers, inflamed eyes, toothache, and swollen gums. And fairies were said to shelter in the flowers to protect from the elements. In homeopathy, we use this homeopathic medicine for a wide variety of acute care usages. This includes ear infections or otitis media. Typically, these pains will wake the child and they will cry out and need comfort. Also, it's one of our main remedies for colds or upper respiratory infections, or even flus, with a bland nasal discharge, a lot of sneezing, and conjunctivitis. Especially when you have a cold accompanying conjunctivitis, you can consider this remedy. It's one of our main acute care remedies for nighttime coughs in children, as well as being very useful for bladder infections. You can use it for hay fever, again with marked sneezing and red and itchy eyes. It's also one of our main remedies for measles, mumps, and chicken pox. It also can be considered acutely for breast infections or mastitis. People who need this remedy typically are fairly soft, timid, and somewhat dependent. Their symptoms are oftentimes changeable, as are their moods, and symptoms can wander from one area of the body to another and often are somewhat contradictory. People who need this remedy oftentimes feel forsaken or abandoned and are better from company and consolation. General characteristics of people needing Pulsatilla nigrans include hormonal factors, and that is oftentimes they are worse at menopause or during menses, or particularly from suppressed menses, for example from birth control pills. They also are quite hot and have a tendency towards fainting from heat. They are better from cold air and cold bathing, and better from walking around slowly in open air. They are worse from stuffy air and from fats, and also worse in the late afternoon, particularly from 2 to 4 p.m. or early evening. Physical characteristics include using this acutely for migraine headaches. Typically these are pulsating and pressing outwards, and worse after the period or during menopause. It's also very useful for mumps and for conjunctivitis. It's probably our main remedy for conjunctivitis in children, particularly when the symptoms are better from cold applications. You can also use this acutely for blocked lacrimal ducts in infants. It's probably one of our topmost homeopathic medicines for ear infections, both acute and chronic, particularly in children. And the ear pain is often described as pulsating and worse from heat. Generally, people who need this remedy feel thirstless. They can have indigestion from fatty foods and can crave butter or whipped cream, ice cream, dairy kinds of foods, as well as cold foods. Also, it's a useful remedy for acute treatment of hemorrhoids. As I mentioned, it's one of our main remedies for bladder infections. and there can be difficulty retaining the urine. Also useful for involuntary urination during pregnancy. In men, it can be used acutely for prostatitis, orchitis, and epididymitis. And in women, you can use it for heavy menstrual bleeding or strong pain during the menses. Very useful remedy for acute coughs in children that can interrupt their sleep, and it's a useful remedy for bronchitis. You can compare this homeopathic medicine to argentum nitricum or silver nitrate, calcarea carbonica or calcium carbonate, lachesis or the bushmaster snake, mercurius vivus, the element mercury, phosphorus, silica, or staphysagria, which is the plant stavesacre. You can order this medicine at orders at amchof.org, or if you'd like to know more about this medicine and other acute care medicines, you can learn about our acute care program at acutecare@amchof.org. Thank you very much.